Hello, brilliant entrepreneur. It's Tash Corbin here, and welcome to another episode of the Heart Centered Business Podcast. This is episode number 153, which means you can find all the relevant links and show notes for today's episode over at tashcorbin.com/153. In today's episode, I'm going to share with you how to craft offers that sell like hotcakes, things that draw in hungry buyers and get them saying, yes, shut up and take my money. Let's dive in. I'm Tash Corbin, and this is the Heart Centered Business Podcast. Now, the surprising thing that you might hear from me about great offers is that it's actually not about having the perfect copy or the most inclusions. But that can sometimes be an easy trap to fall into. Just thinking, if I just write the offer in a certain way, it's going to magically attract my ideal clients and they're just going to say, yep, that's exactly what I need. In most cases, the problem with your offer is not the copy and it's not the inclusions. It comes down to something far more foundational in your business than that. So I've got 4 strategies to make sure that the offers you craft are the ones that sell like hotcakes. Number 1 is making sure you're very specific about your niche for this offer. Who is this offer built for? Now, if you're struggling with niching or you're not even sure that you've got a specific enough niche, I have a free niche training. So make sure you come to the show notes at tashcorbin.com/153 and I'll have the link to the Nail Your Niche training there for you. Number 2 is being clear on your value proposition. What is a value proposition? A value proposition is the gap between before working with you and after working with you in this offer, and why that gap is valuable through the eyes of your ideal client. The gap, I'm going to say it again, the gap between before buying this offer and working with you and after working with you and buying this offer, and the value of that gap in the eyes of your ideal client. Not why you think it's valuable for them, but why they think that that transformation is valuable. So value proposition is something where I see a lot of people struggle with their foundations in their business. It's something that we put a lot of time and energy into in the takeoff program and really nail your value proposition, because your value proposition is where you get your copy. It's where you get your messaging. It's where you get your inclusions and the process through which you facilitate change. Your value proposition, I have a value proposition for every offer in my business, and I have that open when I write the sales page, when I write the social media posts, when I write the emails, when I create the webinars. I always have that in front of me, and so many people neglect their value proposition. So we want to make sure that you get that nailed. I have a little value proposition worksheet that you can also grab at tashcorbin.com/153. So make sure you go and grab that if value proposition is the thing that you're struggling with. Then once you have those 2 things, we bring together your compelling offer and we make sure that it includes clarity on your niche, not by saying it's for busy mums who blah, 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 not by saying who the niche is, but by making sure it's written so that it resonates for that niche. There's a big difference between telling your niche who they are and writing copy that resonates with that niche. So think about the power of saying, for example, you're a busy mum who wants to hit 10K months in her business, right? And the difference between that being in your offer copy versus you just know you'd have 10K months if you didn't have to run around after little people all day, right? Very different vibe to the exact same niching, yeah? One is saying who you are and what you want, and the other is actually speaking to your lived experience. That's a psychographic lived experience, right? It's the thoughts that your ideal client has about exactly the thing that you help them to achieve. Yeah. So make sure it's niched. Make sure you've included some really strong elements of your value proposition. You keep the features to the core minimum that's required to get them from before to after. Right? We call this the almond milk principle. If I came to have a sleepover at your house, How fun would that be? But anyway, if I came to have a sleepover at your place, I would need almond milk for my coffee in the morning. You wouldn't then proceed to tell me the history of almond milk, all the different brands of almond milk, all the different shops in your location that sell almond milk, the streets between here and those stores, the various options for getting from here to those stores. You would just say, get in the car, let's get you some almond milk. That is the job of your offer. Get in the car, let's get you outcome, right? Buy the offer, we're going to get you that outcome. What are the minimum features that you need or minimum inclusions that you need to be able to comprehensively believe that you can get them from before and after? And do they believe that those features will get them there? Your offer is the bridge between where they are now and where they want to be. So they need to see the value in that gap, value proposition. They also need to believe the bridge will get them from where they are to where they want to be. They need to believe that the offer will do it. So a great example of this is, weight loss. And I'm not saying buy these products, right? How many people saw the Garcinia Cambrosia? I apologize to my team who have to actually transcribe this. You'll have to look that one up, right? There were these Garcinia tablets that you could take and they would just magically melt away your fat, right? And how many people fell for buying those tablets? Now, if they'd come on to the infomercial and said, if you want to lose weight, all you have to do is take these tablets. Just trust us. Just take these tablets. They'll do it. People will be like, snake oil, it's not a thing. But the way it was sold was like, here's what it does to your metabolism. Here's people who eat it who are naturally skinny. Here's 45 case studies of people, right? So they were building that bridge and building your belief in that bridge, right? They built your belief in the bridge because they talked about some science behind it. They talked about, natives who ate it. For those of you listening on audio only, I'm rolling my eyes so much right now. And the stories of the people who had taken it and magically lost weight. Right? Eye roll, eye roll, eye roll. But telemarketers and infomercial creators know that that's what it takes to get people to buy something. They need to believe in the bridge. So we can learn a lot from that, not that we have to make up fake science and all of those sorts of things, but we can learn a lot from that because we can then see, well, what key pieces does my ideal client need to understand and know in order to believe that working with me and doing this offer will get them from where they are to where they want to be. And in most cases, they don't need to see 10,000 case studies. What they need to hear from you is that you understand where they are, you've got a process that works, a little bit about what that process involves, and what is possible if they were to purchase and work with you. What is the tangible outcome of this process? You'll notice that I do not use testimonials in my offers on social media at all. I do not have a lot of testimonials on sales pages for my programs. And I do not use testimonials in my webinars when I'm selling my programs. The reason being is that for my audience, one of the big things that stops them from believing the bridge will work for them is they compare themselves to the people in those testimonials. Oh, well, it's okay for that person. She's in this particular niche, which is really simple. Oh, well, it's okay for them. They're selling to businesses. They're helping people make money. Oh, well, it's okay for her. Look how pretty she is. She's got show up on social media easily, right? It's not going to work for me. So for me, actually, testimonials are not a big part of my building that bridge because testimonials will often create comparisonitis for people and they will look for reasons why it works for them and not for themselves. And so I don't use them. I really don't use them a lot. I have a little bit on sales pages. That's usually the main place that I will use testimonials. And you'll see testimonials pop up here and there on my social media, but mostly just like in the moment because someone said something about a program like, oh, can I tell my audience that? That's just such a lovely way of putting it. And so I pop it up there. But it's not, I went from 0 to 10K months in 6 weeks and so can you. It's none of that stuff. Because for a lot of people, that actually builds disbelief. But that's a whole nother conversation for us to have. We just want the bare minimum things you need to touch on in order to bridge the gap between where they are and where they want to be and for people to believe that they'll get there. Yeah? Beautiful. Now, The fourth way to craft offers that sell like hotcakes is to stop thinking that you can just chuck them out on social media and people will magically buy them. Stop thinking that you can just chuck them out on social media or on emails and people will magically buy them. You need to have a client attraction process that walks people closer and closer to the offer and invites them to lean in and qualify themselves at each stage. A client attraction process includes reach, nurture, lead generation, and conversion. So we've got to reach your ideal clients, nurture a relationship with them, get them to lean in and step forward as a lead, and then make that conversion happen. So reach to conversion, right? Oh, I see it on social media, I buy it, is very rare in the online business space. And if you keep relying on that, you'll never have offers that sell like hotcakes. Because what if 1,000 people see your offer and only one person buys? You have no insight as to why the 999 people who didn't buy it. Maybe there was something clunky about the wording. Maybe they assumed it wouldn't work for them. Maybe they didn't believe the bridge. Maybe they had some questions about the features, but they didn't want to reach out and ask a stranger on social media. Maybe the value proposition just isn't big enough for them. They don't see value in that gap. You think it's valuable for them, but they don't think it's valuable. How do you know? So rather than just trying to share offers to cold audiences and magically see them buy it, I want you to instead craft a process that gives you opportunity to refine your offer based on real life human being feedback. And for me, that process includes sales conversations and DM and email conversations with potential clients. So what is your strategy for getting those leads and having conversations with them? What is your strategy to nurture a relationship with ideal clients for whom this offer will be the most compelling? And what is your strategy for reaching those people? So rather than just reach, convert, we want reach, nurture, lead gen, conversion. Have a fulsome process and you will see your offers get better and better at selling and being more and more in demand because you're actually building them based on real life human people's feedback, questions, objections, and barriers, rather than just making it up in theory in your head. No great offer was built in theory. All right, so hopefully that's been a super helpful episode for you today. If you have any questions, of course, slide on into my DMs on Facebook and on Instagram. I'll make sure the link is with the episode today over at tashcorbin.com/153. Until next time, I cannot wait to see you shine. Thanks so much for joining me for this episode of the Heart Centered Business Podcast. Bye for now. Would you like more tips, tools, and resources to help you grow your heart-centered business? Head to tashcorbin.com today.